There you go.
Drunk. You did it.
Look at that.
You did it, John. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Just waiting for that blue button, you know.
Waiting for the blue button.
Doesn't work really good with this big nose.
The people demand we give them one. After a week of waiting, the time has come.
You're less likely to go see a Batman movie if you can watch Batman on your television 23 weeks out of the year.
Don't you just think that everybody will go see it anyway, Travis? Travis, if a Batman movie comes out, you're going to go see it.
I'm seeing that. I'm gonna go see freaking Ben Affleck be Batman.
That's right. You could make... do you know what I want to see? I want to see Jason Statham Batman.
Can The Rock be Mr. Freeze?
I'd watch that too.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He is a man. A hero.
Batman! The Caped Crusader! I'm sorry I spit on you drunk. I'm very passionate. I apologize.
WFOD begins now.
Guys, hello and welcome to this thing we call the Dub Five. My name is Mike. I am joined by my good friend, Mr. Drunkard STL.
The only one not dressed up tonight. I didn't get the memo.
And guys, the king of pranks, the albino alligator, popcorn bitch, the terror that flaps in the night, the caped crusader, Mr. Travis Hulse is here, everyone. Hello, Travis.
Good evening, boys.
The phone number to contact the show is 636-487-HAND or WFOD show on Skype. And Travis, I'll tell you what, probably a lot of podcasts this week are going to be talking about Batman.
I would imagine every single one of them.
But not too many of them, Travis, are going to talk to the executive producer of all of the goddamn Batman movies. And you can say, hey, which Batman movie are you talking about, Mike? All of them.
Yeah.
Michael Uslan.
Yeah, starting with Batman 1989 and all the way up through The Batman.
Michael Uslan's going to be on the program coming up after the break, guys. Looking forward to talking to him. Travis, there's a whole lot going on in the world to talk about. I saw... You probably already were privy to this because you have your ear to the ground, but did you see that Punisher changed his logo?
Yeah, he's actually no longer a skull and crossbones, and he doesn't use guns. He uses flaming swords, I believe.
Punisher has flaming swords?
Pretty dope.
Yeah, this is the second most drastic change they've ever done with him. The other drastic change they did with him was in '99, where they killed him off and he came back as the Avenging Angel, and all of his guns were like spectral guns that he blasted demons with.
Oh, so like he didn't kill just
Buster.
Oh, he was a ghost that busted ghosts.
The Crow.
That's pretty cool, Ack. Hey guys, the Punisher logo, it was co-opted by douches, and I say you gotta take that back. You gotta say, hey, guys, the douches, they don't get to win. That's why Bill Watterson stopped doing Calvin and Hobbes, Travis, because he was tired of Calvin peeing on things. He's just like...
Yeah, that's why the creator of Pepe the Frog, stopped making Pepe the Frog cartoons.
Right. The douches, they ruin stuff, Travis. And what you gotta say is you probably just need to slap them with trademark infringement. Isn't that what they got Al Capone for? trademark infringement?
No,
they
they
couldn't
got
get him on anything else.
Tax
Tax
evasion.
Oh, well, what's the difference? What you do?
These people can claim fair use, though, I suppose. So you can't really go after them if they're claiming fair use.
Travis, I have a story to tell you, and I think that it's self-deprecating, but I'm not really sure. Because see, what the dummy of the story is me. I'm a dumb guy, Travis. A year ago, I took my dog to the vet, and they gave us a printout of all of their findings. It was like a comprehensive exam. And what they told us is well, Travis's eyes just went weird. Drunk, did you see it?
Yeah.
He's doing like a under. Oh no, he's just going to the side. I thought he was going up like the Undertaker, but that's not the case. What it said, Travis, was that Lily's body was above ideal, and for a whole year, Travis, I thought that meant that like she was better than ideal.
No, it means she's fat.
This is a remarkable specimen.
I'm out there saying, dude, we've seen ideal dogs, and this dog's a fucking unit. But that is not the case, Travis. They were saying she's fat.
We don't know what you guys are doing with this dog, but she's above ideal.
I'm a dumb guy, Travis. I thought this whole time that they were saying that she was in great shape.
No. Don't you think your dog would be a lot more cut if that was the case?
Well, I mean, they didn't say that she was mint. They said that she was above ideal. I thought that there was like a sliding scale.
And then you brought her back, and they're like,
She's not
Jesus,
mint,
what
she's
did
like-
he do?
No,
Very fine.
it came to me actually on the drive to get her comprehensive exam this year. I was like, you know what? I mean, like, they didn't tell me. I just realized it. I was like, you know what? I'm a silly goose. I've been real dumb this whole time.
Didn't they give you the printout? Didn't they give you the printout with like the baseline and like the little wavy lines above or below it to like show you what they meant?
No, they didn't do any of that, Travis. They just it's all it said, above ideal, and it was left for me to interpret. Which I guess you would probably think there's no way that somebody could interpret this as being good. I mean, like, you know, there's ideal, and this is not in ideal. You know, it's
above ideal.
It's not below.
Travis, speaking of above ideal, I have a clip for you. I shared this on Twitter earlier this week, and I don't know what this woman is mad about, but if I can set the scene for you, she's in a Walmart, and the sounds that you hear is she is underhand, like hurling like the big, thick 3-wick candles. Like
Yeah, it's like the Walmart store brand Yankee candles.
yeah, she's throwing them as far as she can, like indiscriminately into Walmart, and she's yelling. She has a message. I'm hoping that we can interpret it because I've watched it a dozen times, Travis, and I have no idea what she's mad about.
My pussy matters. Black lives matter. My pussy matters. Have fun paying your own this. Black lives matter. My pussy matters. Have a great time, ma'am. Black lives matter. My pussy matters.
So, is she?
More people don't matter, but her fucking pussy matters.
Is she pro Black Lives Matter, Travis, or is she saying, "Hey, fuck Black Lives Matter, my pussy matters"? What is she saying? Can you help me with this?
I've also watched this multiple times, and I can't really. This is like way out of context. Like, it didn't start with something happening and then her launch. The video starts with her launching the cameras or the candles, shouting that her pussy matters. So
So
I
you think
can't
we need more
decipher
context?
her message.
We need to see like
Need
where this
context.
began.
Haven't watched the video. Could it be a fake?
Well, It is real in that she is in a
she's
Walmart
chucking-
throwing candles.
Yeah, she's chucking a lot of candles in Walmart. I can't imagine
Okay,
Walmart's
fine.
totally cool.
We'll
for
go with the
doing that.
wrestling term. Could it be staged?
and like it doesn't look like she's throwing the candles like in the same place where they have like a trash can set up to catch the candles. Like she's just hurling candles into Walmart just somewhere.
It looks like she's throwing them from the fragrance department into apparel.
So is she like shot put these bitches? Or?
She's like underhand throwing them as far as you can
But
throw
it's
them.
at as high as you can throw them.
Yeah, she's getting some height, going over some aisles, and they're just landing somewhere.
You don't see these. Yeah, you don't see these candles landing. They're
So
just you just
it's
hear them.
likely somebody got injured from this.
Well, I don't know if someone got injured, and in terms of if you got hit in the head with a 3-wick candle, that would be a significant injury, I would imagine.
See, I don't feel like I'd
They're
worry
heavy.
about that because I feel like I could avoid that. I'm worried about the shrapnel of glass.
so it hitting and then just glass flying around.
In the eye, in any open orifice.
Or I guess if like you were just walking around the aisles in some flippity flops,
Yeah,
that could be a problem.
I mean it is.
I'd be worried about
March.
the candles hitting the top of like the shelving units, like Drunk said, and like just like splintering off into a billion directions, because those things, they hit right, they're gonna explode.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I imagine she has a point, Travis, because I think that both Black Lives Matter and her pussy probably matters in some scenario.
I don't know who her pussy matters to. It wouldn't matter to me, but I would assume somebody gives a shit about it.
Maybe she's somebody's mom, Travis.
So does this lady have an ethnicity?
She is a white lady.
White.
Caucasian,
Yes.
50s.
White.
Probably accurate. Yeah, I'd say around 50.
Very white.
City.
What city is she in?
Yeah.
See that it's a Walmart. It's inside a Walmart, and
So it
pretty
could-
much inside Walmart looks the same at all.
Could be
Walmarts.
any inside rural America.
It could be.
But there were ethnic
city.
people there.
Well, the lady telling her that she's going to pay for the candles, she sounded ethnic.
Okay. So
I-
possibly a suburb.
Okay. Drunk is Columboing this, Travis. I think that he's gonna solve.
One
the
last thing. One last
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
For you Columbo's fans out there.
Yeah, just from what I can see, Travis, I would say that the
three of
Walmart
them.
appears to be above ideal. It looks like an okay Walmart, and they have a good stock of candles. I mean,
Yeah,
at
it
least
seems
they
like
did.
it seems like they just stocked that end cap.
Well, I
Truthfully.
feel like kind of 'tis the season, right? It's getting ready to be winter storm season. Power's gonna go out. You're gonna need to stock up on your candles this time of year, right?
Yeah, it's the time of the year.
It's true, and there's actually nothing better than when your power goes out to light like 16 scented candles that are all different scents. Man, that's great for your senses.
Travis, I frequent the Dollar Tree. It's my wife's happy place. She loves going to the Dollar
Do
Tree.
you guys get those like dollar steaks there?
No. And the
They
other
got
day,
the best seasoning, barbecue seasoning. It's the Memphis barbecue seasoning and shaker. That stuff is perfect for chicken.
Memphis barbecue. I'll have to write that down. It's
Grab
good
it, it's
stuff.
great.
I'm always afraid of their seasoning. Like we needed black pepper the other day, and they had a pretty good thing of black pepper. And I was like,
Why would you
should I-
not? It's pepper.
should
Pepper's
I,
pepper.
should I get it? And then I was like, it's Dollar
All
Tree
their
pepper.
all their seasoning is really good. Anytime I go in there, I stock up.
I ended up just going to the Walmart
Pepper
and
is
getting
pepper,
the
baby.
McCormick, man. You know, I had to get that name brand
come
pepper.
on.
But
You
anyway-
elitist pepper boy.
No.
Right, yeah.
Even when I go to the grocery store, I get the generic pepper.
Well, just not to throw her on. Pepper doesn't expire. It's silly. But we bought more pepper. What are you
is
going
it
to
gonna get you sick?
I hope not. But, you know, who knows? Better safe than sorry,
Hey,
right? Anyway,
amen,
so I got energy drinks that were Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton.
Is that a good one?
They're $1
good
instead
driver?
of $2.50, so I'll buy one and drink it one morning just to try it out.
I'm not a big F1 guy, but I have heard of that guy.
And what I can tell you is that it was just regular Monster it had like a plastic wrap
You know what
on
color monster it was?
it. It was like the green one. I'm saying it tasted like the green one, the one that tastes like Smarties.
I don't like Monster. If I go to a bar that serves Monster and I want to get a bomb, they're like, "Yeah, Monster." I'm like, "No, I'll pass."
Well, it gets weird drunk because, see, it had this wrap on it, and I was curious. So I ripped the wrap off to see what was under it.
Rip.
And it was the same thing, but in a different language. And so I posted it in our Discord, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And so, like, they had just wrapped it with English directions, and...
Is Monster not from the USA?
This one wasn't, and I posted it in the Discord, and Lisa started Googling the words, and she said that it was Slovenian. So I drank a Slovenian monster, Travis, and I haven't died yet. It was like a week ago, so I probably would have died by now, right?
Why wouldn't it be the opposite? Why wouldn't they wrap the English language can in a Slovenian wrapper as opposed to the other way around?
I guess like they tried to sell them in Slovenia, and they didn't like that Formula One racer guy, so they ended up just selling them at the dollar store to get rid of them. You would think though, like if you ship them over here,
If I
and sell them at a dollar
if I brought
store,
you a map of Europe, what are the odds you'd be able to point out Slovenia?
Slovenia. That's like up where like Borat's from, right?
Borat's from Kazakhstan.
Yeah. But it's in that
It's probably
general
around
area,
there, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Us Americans are not good at geography.
The thing is, you don't really have to be good at geography anymore, right? You could just Google stuff.
I feel like though most people around the world are pretty good with geography. I think it's Americans are just not good. Anything outside of North America, we just don't know where it is.
Do you think that other places also suck at geography, or is it just us?
Just us.
Yeah, filthy Americans for sure.
Trevor's in the chat.
What do we give a shit about the rest of the world?
I hate your couch says Black Lives Matter and Travis's face matters. I don't know if that. See, now I'm translating again. Do you think that it's because you're wearing the Batman mask and they don't like it? Or do you think that your eyes light up?
You don't like
Travis?
my mask?
Travis, is that your child's, or did you buy that for you?
I bought this for myself. I'm a sucker for masks that make noise when you put them on your face.
So
Did he buy that at a gas station?
No, Goodwill.
Okay.
Oh, it was on sale.
I also have an Iron Man one that's pretty good, and a Stormtrooper one that's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure my nephew has one.
And you got them all at Goodwill? Does that mean they were used? Like you're wearing?
Yeah, they fucking wore them for a Halloween costume and said, "Fuck this thing, don't need this anymore."
Yeah.
Goodwill, here you are.
You disinfect the inside, and you got yourself a pretty sweet collection of ridiculous plastic voice changing masks.
Travis is pro at this.
And it comes in handy, Travis, because like you do a live stream where you get to wear silly outfits and be a
Yeah, you
goof.
never know when you're going to need this a Batman mask like this, and tonight was one of those nights.
Travis, you saw the Batman, right?
Yeah.
I saw the Batman too. We're going to talk to Michael Uslan about the Batman, I guess.
Okay.
Are you going to talk about it now too, or
He produced the Batman. And I think he'd probably want to talk about it, I would assume. He was at the premiere the other day, like we were trying to work on times, and he's not checking his phone for when the tomorrow. He's rubbing elbows with
Figure out when he's going to do the WFOD show, please.
He got back to us next day, Travis. It was fine.
So how was it?
The Batman?
Yeah.
Drunk, I'll tell you what. I liked the Batman.
Yeah, how was Pattinson?
He was fine.
Just fine.
I mean, it is Batman.
Not better than Bale, not better than Keaton.
He's
Better than Clooney.
was good.
Well, they didn't really do a whole lot of Bruce Wayne, did they? They were just kind of like, no, this guy's Batman. And every now and then he takes the mask off and he has to like rub off that eyeliner and like. But he was mostly just Batman. I mean, like every now and then.
For
he
pretty
took
much
the
the whole
mask off.
thing. It's
So how were the bad guys?
Bad guys were great. It was a good movie. I'd say.
Yeah, Colin Farrell was awesome.
It was just a tick under 3 hours. That's really long.
That's a
Travis.
long movie.
What I was saying.
Not to mention the 40 minutes of trailers they put before that.
Why wouldn't you you cut that fucker right in half, and you say, guys, come back in 6 months and give us $13 more. That's be like, guys.
And they could have did it because there was a break point in that movie where you were like, oh, this could be the end, and they're like, nope. Guess what? There's a whole other thing.
Then there was like a whole bunch more Batman, Travis. Like way more Batman.
Why is that the thing now? Like all movies have to be 3 hours long.
I don't know. There was a lot of Batman.
Streaming, I feel, played a big part in that. Where people feel like we can't tell a story in an hour and a half. We got to make it 3 hours.
Or you make it a movie family franchise, whatever.
Yeah, make a whole bunch of them. Just say, guys, this is part 1. Come back in like September.
4.5 hours, you got yourself.
We'll
3
do it
movies.
again. You give us $13 more, you buy more popcorn. See, leaving money on the table, Travis. Then, you get more screenings. You get more screenings. You can flip them in if you're not doing 3-hour movies.
So was the
one nice thing
theater
though, they
busy?
probably lucked out because the pandemic. There's not a lot of movies, so like most theaters are probably putting the Batman on multiple screens.
Yeah, it's on a few.
Was the theater busy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, no. I went at noon on a Monday. Nobody's there.
What about you, Travis?
Yeah, it was the busiest I've seen since before the pandemic.
Travis, I tell you what we should probably do, if it's okay with you. First of all, I think second half of the show, we probably drop I'm taking off my Riddler hat. Travis.
You trying to be profesh?
I'm going to be profesh. Guys, when we come back, we are going to talk to Michael Uslan. He's the executive producer of all the Batman movies. Looking for you. Hey, Travis, can you do the eye thing one more time? They're requesting it in the chat. Can you just make your eyes light? No, you make your eyes light up. They want to see it.
Your heat vision can't hurt me, Superman.
Wfod goes hard.
Is Home Depot better than other stores? Maybe. But one thing is certain. There isn't a retail chain on earth that can match the fuckability of this music that we use in our commercials. Also, our drills are 20% off this week. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Tonight, there's growing controversy over the new Joker movie. There are concerns about copycat crimes.
Critics are concerned the violence depicted on screen may influence someone to carry out a similar crime.
And this version has many concerns for theater safety.
There are no known threats, but Arlington County Police say they'll be conducting extra checks around their movie houses.
When the Joker movie is released, they could potentially have problems, and they need to adjust accordingly.
I remember when I saw Joaquin. There was something so convincing about his face. Never thought I'd be an incel, but he makes a good case.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
He made me the Joker. Yeah, now I'm the Joker. He made me the Joker. Hypnotically. He made me the Joker. Yeah, now I'm the Joker. He made me the Joker. Hypnotically. I'll get you, Batman.
Darkness is his world. Once again, WFOD. Wheelbarrow full of dicks.
Guys, welcome back. Our guest tonight is the originator and executive producer of the Batman movie franchise, the first instructor to teach an accredited college course on comic books, and author. His new book is on the program. Michael, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks.
Michael, I've been what I did is I started reading your new book, and it said to read your first book. So then I got your first book, and I started reading your first book, and then I got most of the way through your first book, and I was like, well, crap, I'm interviewing this guy about his new book tomorrow. I better start reading the new book. So I read a lot of the first book and some of the second book, and like I'm in this weird limbo where I've like half finished 2 books. But
yeah, well, you probably at this point already know more about my life than I do.
but I'll tell you, I went and saw the Batman yesterday with my wife, and about a quarter of the way through it, I said, "Oh well, this is exactly what Michael was talking about. This is the one you wanted, isn't it?"
Yeah, it really is. I'm not saying that it's the only one I ever wanted. I've had a wish list since I was a little kid. A strange thing happened to me on a cold night in January 1966. I was this teenage fanboy who had been waiting months for the Batman TV show to premiere. And the night it premiered, I was simultaneously thrilled and horrified by what I was seeing. Because the car was cool, it was in color, the sets were great, and then about 20 minutes in, I realized, oh my God, it's a comedy. They're making a joke out of Batman. The whole world is laughing at Batman, and that killed me. So that night, in my basement den, I made a vow, like young Bruce Wayne once made a vow, except his parents were slaughtered before him in the city street. Mine was safe upstairs in the kitchen. And I said, somehow, someday, I'm going to show the whole world what the true Batman is like. The guy created in 1939 by Bill Finger and Bob Kane is a creature of the night. He stalks disturbed villains in the shadows, and find a way to remove from the world's consciousness these new words, pow, zap, and wham. and that was the night it all started. So, and from amazingly, when I was still a kid in my 20s, I raised some money privately, and I bought the rights to Batman from DC Comics, which is inconceivable today.
Right.
But nobody else on the planet Earth showed up. So that began the long trek. For 10 years, I was turned down by every studio, every mini major in Hollywood. They said I was crazy. It was the worst idea they ever heard. Until we got our first movie made in 1989, thanks to Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, and Jack Nicholson. And that was a dream come true for me, as was Christopher Nolan coming in to restore the darkness and dignity of Batman with the Dark Knight trilogy. And then have Todd Phillips come in with Joker. And now, for the 4th time in 33 years, the entire concept of what a comic book superhero movie could be has been reinvented completely by the brilliant genius of Matt Reeves. So I'm just floating on air, guys.
You could probably just take a victory lap around.
This new one was 100%.
Take a number now.
Went through how, looking back at like getting through, you've been like the advocate for Batman.
Somebody had to be Batman's Batman, and somebody had to work really hard to try to defend him and protect him and do whatever was possible up against big business and big money to make sure he wouldn't be put back into the cage of being a pot-bellied, funny, pow-zap, wham guy again. And that was my mission originally for my career, and it turned out to be my mission for life. And hand in hand with that, guys, I'm probably one of only 2 people still alive who met Bill Finger. I met Bill twice when I was 13 and 14 years old. He personally told me how Batman was created. And I was friendly with Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson, who co-created Joker, Robin, and Alfred, and other villains. And I feel a personal responsibility to these guys to, carrying forward to respect not only the integrity of the character, but the integrity of the creators. And these guys were often denigrated during their lives, especially during the 1950s with Seduction of the Innocent, Dr. Wortham blaming the ills of society on comic books. And they lived a life where they were looked down upon by most people in society. And now their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids deserve to have them in a place of honor and respect, with their creation becoming part of our global mythology. And that's been the other part of my mission.
Michael, what do you think it is about Batman that lends itself to the possibility of it drifting off into camp, right? Like, because I've been a Batman fan since I was 6 years old. You know, I'm 42 right now, and I got my first Batman comics when I was about 6, and they were always fairly dark, but there's always been time periods, and you know, and I grew up watching reruns of Batman 66, and I enjoyed it, but again, just like you know, it's not the Batman that I know, but there's been so many times in my lifetime and in my comic book journey where, you know, the camp creeps in, right? Like, you know, and you're talking about Wortham and things where they're trying to take the darkness out of Batman. Well, if you look at the Batman in general, it's a dark story. This child had his parents slaughtered in front of him, and he wants to like take it out. There's this pathos that he has that he needs to fix or wrong. But there is, over time, you know, and talk about the Tim Burton movies and how they kind of, you know, lightened up as soon as Tim Burton left and went more towards that Batman 66. What do you think it is about Batman that allows people to think that they should take it off in that direction?
Well, you've got to go and look at the original comics. Now, we're from different generations. I started reading comics when 1956. And my era as a little kid growing up into the beginnings of a teenager, it was Batman Robot, Batman Genie, Batmite, Bat Baby, the Super Batman of Planet X. I was there for all the crap. And, you know, when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I was delighted by it. But as I came to understand who the character was and how he was created and why and what he was meant to be, that's when I got upset. And originally, comic books in that point in time were primarily aimed at 8 to 12-year-old boys. But as comic books became more mature and graphic storytelling became more sophisticated and graphic novels started, and they began to aim comic books at an older audience, high school, college, and then beyond, everything shifted. Everything shifted. But the fact is, you can still go back and find comic books that have all of the silly stuff in it. So when I first met Tim Burton, they set me up in a series of 3 lunches with Tim, and my job was to indoctrinate him into the world of Batman. And I brought comics from my collection. I showed him the first dozen issues of Detective Comics from 39 to 40. I showed him the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil stuff from the 1970s with Ra's al Ghul and Talia. I showed him the Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers run that was darkly romantic, and kept him away from all of the crazy, campy stuff, and that really was my job. And then when Chris came in, following Batman and Robin and Catwoman, you know, his job was to restore the darkness and dignity to Batman, and he successfully did that. So, but that's where it emanates from. It comes from the comics themselves.
Hey, Michael, is Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney, is that the same Batman? Like, now we're getting into all this metaverse stuff. Like, that's the same Batman.
Stuff, and I welcome everybody's debate, and I welcome everybody's opinion. That's the great thing about Batman. Batman's human.
Oh, okay.
So we all get to project ourselves on Batman. We want him to be, and he can do that. Unlike virtually any other superhero, he can do that. And that's why I say the one true Batman is the one you first met when you were a kid. And whether it was a movie, a TV show, a cartoon, or a comic book, that is your true Batman. And I don't take that away from anybody.
Oh.
But what's important is to also show the vision as originally presented by his creators and as embellished over time by people like Adams and O'Neil and Englehart and Rogers, etc. Frank Miller, and that's important. But that's why Batman can be something for everyone.
Yeah, and I agree. Like my perfect Batman is somewhere between the likeness that Jim Aparo had drawn and Michael Keaton, right? Because I was 9 years old when that movie came out, and now it's to the point where you got this younger generation, when they try to slam on Michael Keaton and say, "Oh, that's what a terrible Batman," it's a personal attack to me, right? Like this was the first time that we got a Dark Knight in a noir Gotham City, taking on these criminals. It is like, so when people now, just because it's from 1989, like slam on Keaton, it's like, oh, he wasn't a great Batman. It's like, it's like I said, it's a personal attack to me when people go after Michael Keaton's Batman.
Well, worse than that, they miss the whole point. And I understand why they can miss it, because they come so many generations later. But you've got to put everything in the context of its times, and you have to understand the following critically important thing. When that young genius, Tim Burton, came into our lives, it was Tim who was charged with making the first ever revolutionary, dark and serious film about a comic book superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Tim Burton who then came up with what I always call the big idea. And I call it the big idea because it changed Hollywood forever, revolutionized what comic book movies could be, and has had a direct influence and impact on every single genre picture to date. And his big idea was the following. He said to me one day, "Michael, if we're going to do this dark and serious version of Batman and want audiences around the world who have never read a comic book to believe a guy could get dressed up as a bat and fight a guy who looks like the Joker, then this movie cannot be about Batman." And my jaw dropped. I think everything dropped. You've got to show a Bruce Wayne who is so driven, so obsessed to the point of being psychotic, that audiences will suspend their disbelief and go, yeah, that's a guy who would get dressed up as a bat guy, who could convince audiences, this is Bruce Wayne. This guy would do this. And Tim said to me, we could take any serious actor of the day, and this is circa 87, 88, Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Harrison Ford. He goes, I don't know how to show any of them getting into a bat costume without getting unintentional laughs from the audience, but not with Keaton. They'll buy it with Keaton. And Michael Keaton, working with Tim Burton, they made this entire thing work. And to give you an idea of the impact of that big idea, let's look at how that opened the door to Marvel.
Oh,
you
sure.
guys have all seen the Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
They should really be entitled Tony Stark. The Spider-Man movie should really be entitled Peter Parker. And that's all because of Tim Burton's big idea and Michael Keaton.
Right?
You have to sell the secret identity to sell the superhero.
Absolutely,
Well,
you do.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
Tim had
have to have a
corollary to
character,
the
or
big
else you're
idea.
just rooting
The corollary
for
was,
Metal Robot Man.
go ahead.
That's boring. Got to have a guy in the Metal Robot Man, or it's done.
Well, and the selling part of that too, when you're talking about Michael Keaton, I mean, I think as soon as you said that, you have to have an actor who's going to sell, that a guy, this rich guy is going to dress up like a bat and try to punch people that look like the Joker. Is that scene, is you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. You know what I mean? And he's faking it to a certain point to try to distract the Joker, but at the same time you see that like mania in his eyes that is like, oh yeah, of course this guy is going to put on a rubber suit and jump off of a building.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But Tim's corollary to his big idea was he made it point blank from the opening frames of this movie, 1989. Gotham City must be the third most important character in the piece. We must, from the opening frames, get audiences to believe in Gotham City, because if they don't, they will never believe in a guy dressed as a bat fighting a guy who looked like the Joker. And it's that world building that he did in conjunction with another genius, my dear friend Anton Furst, who won the Oscar that year for his production design, and came in with the plans for Gotham City, the Batmobile, the whole look of the picture. And again, Anton's design work still to this very day influences every genre movie that comes out.
Well, it created like for multiple generations the Gotham City, right? Because it took Tim Burton, and the design team there created that noir Gotham City, which then bled into Batman the Animated Series and everything that came afterwards. I mean, it strayed a few times when you're talking about, like Batman and Robin and things that got like very light and there was a lot of colors and things.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Michael, is there something so?
No, you're right about that. And look, look at Chris Nolan's vision of Gotham City. He wanted to make it real. He didn't want to build it on a back lot like Tim did. He wanted it to be real. And then you look at what Matt Reeves has done, and you make a good case if you call it the ultimate Gotham City.
I love Matt Reeves as Gotham City. It's just like the dirty. It's the thing that I see, and especially I'm not giving anything away really. Is like when you start looking at dangerous city that residents of Gotham City can live in, but anybody visiting is going to be freaked out no matter what city street they're walking on.
Absolutely, and you get a sense. Look, I'm a producer, I'm a writer. I've been in Hollywood now, working this thing for 45 years, but I'm still a fanboy at heart. I'm still a comic book reader and collector at heart. And when somebody asked me recently to describe my job, which is what I state in my new book, Batman's Batman, I say, every day I report to a sandbox and I play with my favorite toys. That's what I do for a living.
That's the dream.
Travis, I think that they should use Michael as an example and just get like a super fan to kind of be in charge of all of them, right? It seems to work in this case. And I mean, like, why is somebody not lucky enough to
have? They're not all lucky enough to have the person who had the foresight, 30 plus years ago to buy the film rights and be able to be like, yeah, this is how we're going to do this character. Like, you get, large corporations in there and they get a lot of input, you have to have that singular vision. And I think, unless it was there decades ago, it's hard to do that, Mike.
Michael, I don't think that I would ever get anything done. I would just be running around. I told you so, and everybody. I would never do anything. I would say I was right. You were wrong.
Yeah,
I did it.
I'm not the kind of guy who does that. I'm the kind of guy who says when they come back and they say, "Gee, everything you said was true, came true." Okay, so now let's do it right. Let's make sure it's done right. And how do you make sure it's done right? You find filmmakers who you realize have a knowledge of a character, a love for a character, a respect for a character, an understanding of a character. And then they have a vision they present for a character. And if you believe they can execute that vision, your job then becomes cheerleader. And you're there to be as supportive as you possibly can and give the filmmaker everything he or she needs to make it work. And God, I've been so lucky. I mean, Tim Burton and Bruce Timm and Phil Lord and Chris Miller on Lego Movie, Lego Batman.
Oh, so good.
And Christopher Nolan and Todd Phillips and Matt Reeves. I mean, seriously, you talk about legacy. Oh my God, it's just dream come true material.
Let me ask you a question, Michael, real quick too, about the casting of that has to be more torturous than being cast as the Batman.
No.
And I say, and you know why I say that, right? Because as soon as it's about anything except about the Batman, it happened to Ben Affleck, it happened to Christian Bale. It's just nonstop Batman. No matter what you're promoting, no matter where you are, you could be buying a gallon of milk at the store and you're being pestered about the Batman.
Fellas, you're talking to the guy who's been on the front line from day one. So I got a lot of the flack, and I use the word flack as a substitute. When Michael Keaton was announced as Batman. You're going to turn it into another campy comedy again. And this was before social media. It was a firestorm that's never been equaled since. And until the fans and everybody actually saw it and then said they didn't want anyone else ever to play the role.
Well, I mean, I had a Twitter account when they announced Heath Ledger, Travis, and I know that I tweeted it. I was like, that's the 10 things I hate about you, guy. This is stupid. And I was wrong. I was big time wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one who had to try to tell you it was stupid without telling you it was stupid. The fans were coming back. How could you hire a gay cowboy to play the Joker? You'll destroy that character forever. Then we had it again with Ben Affleck. But he's supposed to be Bruce Wayne in his mid-40s who doesn't want to go back into it, is being dragged back in, kicking and screaming. And then we get it again with Robert Pattinson. It happens over and over and over again. And the whole answer is, yes, you have a right to judge. You have a right to your opinion, but see it first.
Right.
That's all I ask.
Right.
Right.
I learned my lesson, Michael. I did. Heath Ledger taught me the lesson.
You know what the real answer is? You can't look at the cast. You have to look at the filmmaker and see what the filmmaker's vision is. Oh, this filmmaker is going to do Batman just a year out. He hasn't evolved yet into the Dark Knight. He's still making mistakes. He's still figuring it all out. Or no, this filmmaker is going to do Batman in his mid-40s. Whatever that might be. And then when you figure out who the filmmaker is, what his vision is, and then you take a look at the casting, and the bottom line is you then have to just trust the filmmaker that he or she has a vision that they're trying to execute, and there's a reason they're picking the cast they're picking.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And I'll tell you what, I loved how many times Robert Pattinson got punched as the Batman. He got hit, makes everybody down without like missing a beat. It's like watching that evolution between that young year one, year two Batman into, like you said, that coming out.
Right word. This is all about evolution. This is whether you're talking about Bruce Wayne or Batman or the Batmobile or the villains. It is a story of evolution.
Guys, the book is called Batman's Batman, a memoir from Hollywood, land of bilk and money. It's in bookstores now. I can tell you, it's a good read. And if you enjoyed this and you enjoyed just hearing Michael talk about,
don't do it like Mike did. Go ahead and read an entire book before you move on to the next book to read that one.
I read half of 2 books, Travis. I read 1 book.
Yeah.
But it took me 2 books to read 1 book. I'm gonna finish the books. God, now I don't know which one I want to finish first, Travis. I guess I finished the first one first, right?
Well, hey, look, guys. Here's a last minute news break. The book, The Boy Who Loved Batman, as supplemented by Batman's Batman, is now being turned into a Broadway play.
Oh my
by
God!
The Nederlander Organization of New York, and it's being fast tracked for Broadway. And I couldn't be more excited. I am just over the moon about this.
Is it going to be a musical? It's going to I want to buy Batman. Right? No?
It ain't a musical.
Oh, okay.
Mike, before we let Michael go, I have to ask one final question. I read that I have a lot of comic books that I've been collecting for, 30, 35-ish years. I have, again, an entire room in my house devoted to it. Do you regret that? I mean, we're going on, 17 years since you did that? Do you regret letting that collection go?
Well, first of all, don't believe everything you read. I did not donate 30,000 comic books. I've donated 45,000 as of this year. I've kept a few thousand of my favorites. I have promised my son I would do of every Silver Age DC comic. And I'm a Steve Ditko addict, so I kept my entire Ditko, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange run.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept other select things, including my O'Neil Adams, my Kane Finger Robinson Batmans, my Englehart Rogers Batmans. I kept Swamp Thing by Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein. There's a bunch that I've kept. But yeah, 45,000 comic books are now at the Lilly Library, which is the rare book library at Indiana University. And it's open to any student or researcher or historian. They can access it.
So would you say that there's no regrets as long as you keep the things that are most important to you?
Yeah, I think that's true. And, number one, it probably saved my marriage. You know what it's like to have 45,000 comic books in your house? And number two, it was the perfect answer for what do I do with 143 issues of Lois Lane?
Guys, Batman's Batman. It's in bookstores now. Check it out. Michael, we appreciate your time, man. It was fun talking to you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Travis. Let's do it again. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
Take care, guys.
Travis Michael's great, right? That was a good time.
Yeah.
You know, when he started
so
at
great.
DC Comics, I wanted to bring this up with him, but you know, I mean, how long are you going to keep the poor guy? He's Travis, how much money do you think that guy's worth? He's a lot of money, right? It's weird to bring up, but I'm not going to bring it up to him. But the guy owns
you can't
Batman,
bring that up to a person. Well, I mean, even donating all those comic books to a museum, that's
Travis, guy owns
hundreds
Batman.
of thousands of dollars. It's like,
So,
here you go, museum.
He
Let
started
people
at
look at 'em.
DC Comics, and what they did is they had him driving around in like a comic book ice cream truck. They were like selling comic books out of a truck.
Hey, kids, comics.
That's how you get rid of your comic books, Travis. You just buy a van and you drive around, be like comic van. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, just like a white van with tinted windows, and you drive up to suburban neighborhoods. And you're like, hey, kids, you guys want some comic books? Come on in.
Travis, I think Drunk's been nodding off, like through the whole Michael Uslan interview. He's closing his eyes. He's bowing his head. In the chat, Rob
He
asked,
doesn't like the superheroes.
"Is Drunk awake?" And I honestly didn't know. I was trying to look, and I poked him once, and he looked at me. He didn't act like he was asleep, but I thought he might have.
I was in deep concentration.
He was thinking real hard. He trying to come up with like the perfect question.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Batman, Drunk? Which
Keaton.
actor is your favorite Batman?
Michael Keaton.
You're a Keaton guy?
I'm a Keaton guy.
I think I'm a Keaton guy too, Travis.
Hell yeah.
Travis.
Everybody says he is.
No, I loved Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer was a great Bruce Wayne, I thought.
He was a great
Now,
Batman
Clooney
too.
was garbage.
You know what camp shit?
I
too.
did too. I actually enjoyed
That fucking Adam West world where both existed, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that was told to you.
Right. I think he said that all of those Batmans were different Batmans, Travis. I was trying to get him to confirm that all those first three Batmans were the same Batman. But he didn't. He said no, next question. He was mad.
He wouldn't do it.
He didn't like it that I implied that.
Don't ask me about all these different Batman.
But like if you ask about like if you think about like okay, so Michael Keaton made 2 Batman movies. Then Val Kilmer like a year later made the Batman movie, and like Chris O'Donnell's in all those Batman movies. That's the Odonnellverse.
Right.
Well, was Chris O'Donnell
He's only in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he wasn't in the Michael Keaton Batman movies.
No.
So Val Kilmer.
No, but he was the carryover. He was the carryover from Kilmer into Clooney.
So Kilmer and Clooney are
which-
potentially the same Batman.
Yeah, the only thing that actually was the through line through the entire 1989 series was Commissioner Gordon and Alfred.
Oh yeah, they all have the same Alfred. Travis, I'm telling you, that's the same Batman. Those Batmans are all the same Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care
They
what
had
he
the same
says.
Alfred because then they
he
did
thinks
some
just because he owns Batman,
weird-ass
Travis,
nonsense.
he can make the rules. No, they had the same Alfred. They had the same Robin. That's the same Batman.
So is Gollum a good Alfred?
Gollum?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was fine.
He was fine.
You know, I don't really like Alfreds that look like they can handle themselves. Like even Jeremy Irons, he kind of looked like he could handle himself a little bit.
Right, where's Sir Michael Caine?
I like elderly, decrepit Alfreds, Travis. That's what I like. I like old-ass Alfreds.
Alfred from '66 and Alfred from the 1989s.
Yeah, and like, you know, the
Sir Michael
animated
Caine was a good Alfred.
the animated series Alfred, like, you know, he just seemed real uppity. He didn't seem like necessarily like he couldn't walk good, but, you know, he didn't seem like if you punched him in the face, he'd punch you back.
Yeah, like it's not like he wasn't gonna punch you, but it's not like he was gonna kick everybody's ass.
Travis, I've been listening to. This isn't my pick of the week. I hate this, by the way. Okay. I framed that wrong. Let me start over. Former guest of the show, Connor Ratliff. He has a podcast about how he got fired by Tom Hanks, and the third season's been going. But the way I did the second season is I waited till he was done and just binged the whole thing, because they're like 35-minute long episodes, and then they make you wait a week, and you just want to see them all. So I just wait till he's done and then listen to the whole season. So that's what I've been doing with the third season. And the third season, by the way, ends, I think, this week, and he actually interviews Tom Hanks. So I'm assuming that's probably the end. I mean, like at some point during this season, he interviewed Colin Hanks. And I thought, oh, that's probably the best you're going to do. But then he got Tom Hanks. So I was like, okay, this has got to be the end, right?
Why didn't he get Chet Hanks?
Chet Hanks. He's Chet Hanks, man, right?
Oh, the soldier boy.
But anyway, at the end of every episode of Connor's podcast, he plays the same ad for another podcast. And I want you to try to listen to this ad and like not want to get on a plane and go assault these people. Like I hate these people, Travis. I hate them. I love Connor's podcast. I hate this podcast. Listen to some of this and tell me you don't hate these people.
Hi, brats.
Hello, friends.
I'm Megan Stalter.
And me? I'm Nikki Stalter.
And this is our podcast, Confronting
Demons with Megan Stalter.
Travis, I hate him.
We'll be coming back to your ears and available to you on HeadGum.
HeadGum!
We're supposed to say it together.
Oops.
Shut up.
Confronting Demons with Megan Stalter is a podcast about confronting the bad people from your past.
The freaks from your future.
And
Travis is shaking his head, drunk. He doesn't like it.
Each episode, Megan will harass new guests about something they've done. Harass. Wow.
Are they married or are they brother and sister?
I don't know. I hope they're
both.
Ooh.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that.
They're bad people, Travis. They're bad people, and they put that ad at the end of every episode of... I wanted to say that, Travis. I guess I didn't need to bring negativity into the whole thing. But you know, what are you going to do? Speaking of which, Travis, Pepper, quote-unquote, accidentally sent us... he did like an open mic set.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
Did you like it?
At in his garage? In his garage? He
No,
did
I
this,
at
or
like an open
actually
mic
at a-
place. Yeah, and
Oh, good for him. I like that Pepper.
and then he was all like, "Oh, guys, I didn't do that on purpose. You know, send you my open mic set. It was an accident. Don't make fun of me about it." So,
but please listen.
Right. I saved it. Maybe we can listen to that next week.
Send it to me. I'll listen.
Okay.
I'll listen
Yeah.
to it.
Actually, it's kind of funny. Rob asked for it because he quickly deleted it after several people had the opportunity to save it, and Rob replied to me emailing it to him, and took two parts of Pepper's set and combined them, and made like a way better punchline than Pepper did.
Oh shit! He should be an advisor for Pepper's comedy.
Do you want to hear it? I have it. If you want to hear just like the setup and the punchline that Rob created out of.
Yeah, give me that.
Okay.
Yeah, give me that.
Here you go.
Whenever you have a mullet, people think you are exactly one type of person. They think you're the fucking cut off jean shorts, American flag shirt, fucking bush light. It's like, man, I am not fucking that. That's why I had to cut that shit off. People would see me just like in traffic and be like, oh man, is he drinking the bush light? Is he listening to fucking Scorpions or some shit? It's like, no, I'm just a regular guy trying to get through life like you are. You guys watch NASCAR?
Those two things weren't together, Travis, but Rob put them together, and
that's genius.
Drunky, you got a pick of the week? Something you want the people to know about, bud?
Pick of the week. We're golfing at the TPC Sawgrass. For those that are somewhat familiar with golf, that's the 17th hole. That is an island.
You say Sawgrass?
Sawgrass.
Sawgrass.
The island hole. You familiar with the island hole?
No.
So the hole is like 80 yards wide, or the green is.
Is that the one that Tin Cup had so much trouble with?
Yeah, I don't remember Tin Cup. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's about an 80-yard green, and it's surrounded by a lake. And good luck. And
You
then
can't say you can't remember Tin Cup to the world's biggest Costner head in the same room with you.
Sorry, buddy.
I love me some Kevin Costner.
I
When
was-
he mentioned
I know
Kevin
you do.
Costner as Batman, Travis, I was like, I'd watch the fuck out of a Kevin Costner
I was
Batman
more of
movie.
a
I'd watch the Harrison Ford Batman movie.
Field of Dreams guy myself.
Make all these goddamn Batman movies. I'll go see them, Michael. I will.
I saw a rumor that at one point, and I was going to bring this up, that Bill Murray and Eddie Murphy were rumored.
Stars at Phoenix, and it is conference championship weekend. Getting ready to be selection Sunday this weekend. So those are my picks of the week.
Travis, pick of the week?
Travis's pick of the week this week is Archive 81. It's a limited series now playing on Netflix. It's the story of a young man who's tasked to restore film from 1985 that was damaged in a fire. It ends up leading down a rabbit hole into the life of the woman who filmed it, who may have gone missing due to supernatural circumstances. It starts out as kind of just a normal, weird restoration, looking into the past, and it blends into these supernatural elements of a cult in a weird 25-year blending, almost like a lake house situation. But that's probably too much of a spoiler as it is, so I won't get into it. Archive 81 is a suspense thriller, almost horror series on Netflix. It's starring Black Adam Driver and some gal that you saw in a different Netflix show. It is wonderful.
Who's the Black Adam Driver? There's an Adam Driver that's black?
I don't know what his name is, dude, but I'm telling you what, for the first 2 episodes, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He looks so familiar. And then it occurred to me, he's just a dude that looks exactly like Adam Driver, sounds exactly like Adam Driver, has the same exact mannerisms as Adam Driver, except it's not Adam Driver, it's a black actor.
Huh. Travis, pick of the week, the Hulu original Fresh, starring the Winter Soldier. If you're not familiar on what this movie's about, don't look it up. Just watch it.
Don't be.
yeah. I'm not going to tell you
Don't be
anything
familiar
about
with
it. Just watch it, because Travis, the opening credits come like 35 minutes into the movie, which is really weird. The whole fucking thing's really weird, Travis. But Travis, you would love this movie. You know how a lot of times I just do picks of the week, and I don't necessarily tailor them to you. I'm telling you, you should watch this movie as soon as you can. It's called Fresh. It has the Winter Soldier in it. It's great.
That son of a bitch is a chameleon, right? Like, I liked Sebastian Stan. He was in that short-lived Showtime series, I'm Dying Up Here, about the 1970s stand-up comedians, and he was one of the guys that popped up in the first couple of episodes, and I was like, who is that guy? It's like, oh shit, it's Sebastian Stan. And watching Pam and Tommy, we just started watching Pam and Tommy last night, and it was like, where did Sebastian Stan go? I just see Tommy Lee. That dude is so good, and I'm very excited to watch Fresh. I've seen a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah. Don't watch any more buzz about it. Know nothing.
Nothing.
I knew
Watch it
nothing,
fresh.
Travis, and I feel like me knowing nothing made the experience that much better. So,
yeah, I have no idea what it's about. I just see people raving about it, and now that you're raving about it, maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Good. Guys, oh no. Travis, the music we play at the end didn't work.
It didn't?
No.
Can I ask you a question?
What, Drunk?
Why are you so obsessed with me buying shoes so big?
Because it's weird.
So, but when I bring up the point that you buy cheap-ass boots, has nothing to do with me buying shoes because I need them wider or else they will break.
Oh, well, see, you're making fun of me, and so I lash out back at you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
You know that about him.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You're not going to lash out at me. I lash out at you.
Well, I'm not lashing out. I'm just making a point.
It's silly that you buy shoes too big.
If I buy New Balances, I don't buy them too big.
Because then they're wider.
Because they're wider.
You should buy.
But if I buy
only
Pumas,
buy New Balances.
Wouldn't you, Travis?
What if I want a nice pair of Pumas?
Wouldn't you trip over them, Travis? If your shoes were 2 sizes too big, it's a weird thing to do.
Motherfucking clown shoes.
Like when you're going up steps, wouldn't you like catch them on the step above? I would.
Let me ask you something. How many people can you fit in your car drunk? If you pull up to a curb, will 30 people that look just like you get out of there with their giant shoes?
It depends on what decade we're talking about. If there's the 80s, I could totally fit a lot of people in my car because, no seatbelt restrictions and then pop people in the back and shit. But now that it's 2022, I can only fit 5.
The gator fucking nailed you!
I'm not a crook.
I'm doing it.
Share the episode on social media or with one of your in-real-life friends. For links to our ever-expanding universe, including our Discord, our Twitch, and YouTube channels, and our library of back episodes, visit us at WFODshow.com. Thanks to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio, Brian and Liquid. Visit patreon.com/WFODix to help support the show. Leave us a voicemail at 636-487-4263. Email us, Mike or Travis, at WFODix.com, or reach out on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Travis.
Travis. Drunky says to me, "These New Balances are only a size too big. These Skechers are only a size or a half size too big." It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, that was a good grab, man. That was a good guest. It's not every day a podcast gets an executive producer of all of those wonderful Batman movies.
You say, "Hey, which Batman movie did you produce?" He did all of them. All the animated ones.
Yeah. Which ones did you see? I produced those ones.
Yeah. You know which one I didn't do? The Adam West one. All the rest of them, me.
Adam West had more than one, didn't he?
Oh, which Batmans did I meet? All of them. I met all the Batmans.
Right. Pictures. He posted the night that we confirmed him of him just hanging out with Channing Tatum. Like,
oh, I saw that.
What are you talking to us
at the
for?
Batman premiere. Yeah. We should get a hold of him and see if he can get us Channing Tatum.
Yeah, he's probably got his number, I would think, right?
I would certainly think so.
Travis, we got to talk more about the shoe thing, right? Okay, so I bought
let a man live his life.
See, he started shit with me, Travis. See, what I bought is I bought a pair of boots at the Ross Dress for Less. And turns out they didn't last that long. Travis, they were Rockaware, like a Jay-Z's thing.
Jesus. Rockaware took a shit when they started selling for Ross's Dress for Less. Just like, that's the same kind of thing as like when Ocean Pacific sold to Walmart. You can't buy that shit anymore.
I was like, these boots are kind of cool. I could rock these, and the the young kids at my work will be like, hey, look at that cool 40-year-old wearing Jay-Z boots, you know?
Guaranteed.
You know, they'll say, hey, man, those are some cool boots you're rocking.
Oh, man, did the Hove design those?
Yeah. But, yeah, it turns out they didn't last very long, Travis. And so what I did is I bought, like, some... I think that it was in part because, you know, they're not...
Get some real respect. Go to the boot store, buy some nice $150 boots that'll last you fucking 10 years, and you'll get respect from the old people like, hey, that's an old man making great decisions right there.
That's a guy buying some high quality... See, but, like, you know, how many pairs of Rockaware cool boots can I buy before I've equaled the price of the $150 boots?
I guarantee you the $150 boots will last you longer than 10 pairs of Rockaware boots.
See, but I would feel bad about wearing a $150 pair of shoes. Like, if you got something on, wouldn't you feel bad? Like, oh, no.
No, because they don't last you for fucking ever.
I now only buy $100 jeans. So...
$100 jeans, Travis?
Yeah, you buy a pair of Mugsies,
I only
you'll never
buy
buy another
$20
pair of
underwear
jeans in your life.
I'm spending on underwear what you're spending on shoes.
Yeah, I buy cheap stuff, and then
you know what the saying is?
If I fuck it up, I don't care.
The cheap pay twice.
Yeah, but the cheap paid less.
No, you end up spending more in the long run.
But how?
We're at an
about
age,
$150
you're living your
boots.
life like you're living your life like you're still in your 20s worried about money. You got to go and buy yourself some quality things. For the first time, it was like probably 2-3 years ago.
So let me ask you this,
I
then,
bought
Mike.
my first pair of Mugsies.
Why do you not keep buying
they're worth
$2,000 cars?
$2,000 cars?
Yeah.
We're not talking about the same things.
We are talking about the same thing. It's the same principle.
Okay.
Because it keeps breaking down, you got to keep putting more money and more money and more money into it, right?
Sure.
When you can just buy a $18,000 car and be good for the next 5 years.
But, see,
and then get a new one.
You put $150 boots on and a pair of $100 jeans, Mike. You walk out of the house with a different kind of swagger than you do walking out of the house with $20 jeans and $30 boots.
Like I'll just hear the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in my head, Travis.
If that's what you hear, yeah.
That's correct.
Huh.
And then when you get to work, they'll be like, oh my God,
music.
Look at Mike.
You think that people will be like that? They'll say, look at Mike?
Way more so than the, hey, look at these Rockaware fucking Ross dress $20 boots. Yeah.
But see, the thing...
Personally, my theme song when I walk out of the house is...
Did they make a sitcom about that one?
Mine is, if I was a rich girl, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di.
But okay, the difference between cars and boots, guys. If demolition derby, to like fuck it up, like to like, you know, step or drive through mud and run into other cars.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm rough on shoes. Because I'm a man of action.
The boots are the cars of your body, Mike.
But like, you know, I take my dogs for walks through the field, and like I like go to work and
so
like
how
scuff them up.
How
on
long
stuff.
is a work shift for you?
12 hours.
And of those 12 hours, how many of them are on your feet?
10.
So don't you think you'd be better off in 10 hours in $150 shoes as opposed to $20 shoes?
Ooh, treat yourself, Mike. Treat yourself.
You guys saying I need expensive shoes? It'll make me feel better.
And it's not necessarily expensive shoes. You need nice shoes.
High quality.
Quality. You're not looking for price. You're looking for quality.
Right.
Well, see, but that's why you go to Ross Dress for less. You get name brand shoes at a discounted price.
No.
Travis.
No.
That's what they say about TJ Maxx, too. That's nonsense.
Now, those first pair of boots, those were bad boots. Those were X-ray. Never heard of X-ray. The sole just fell off.
So we're talking about two different pairs of boots.
The toe was flapping. It looked like
Kermit boots right now.
I'm talking like Kermit the Frog's mouth.
So you had to get a patch for a second pair of boots?
No, I just threw those in the garbage. The sole fell off of them.
So what happened to this pair of boots?
There was just a hole in them.
Oh my God!
and so I put a patch over it.
You're proving exactly. You've already spent $40 worth of boots, and you already got to get patches. You hear what I'm saying to you, right?
Well, I have 3 pairs of boots. I threw one of them away, and I patched the other 2.
2?
Yeah.
Well, now, listen. Now you take those shitty pairs of boots that you have, you wear those through the mud puddle that you walk your dog through,
right? Or
and you get yourself a
good
pair of boots for regular.
Those are your shopping shoes now.
I have so many